Before you spray your yard with an herbicide, please don't do that. I want you to consider the benefits of one of the most hated lawn weeds, dandelion. Hey everyone, my name is Tracy Martirana from Holistic Wellness with Tracy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about dandelion, which is just a powerhouse herb that almost all herbalists love, but a lot of landowners hate. Why? Why do they hate those pretty little yellow flowers? I don't know. To me, they're prettier than just grass. Before we get started with all of the benefits of dandelion, I want to take a quick minute to warn you that as with every herb, food, compound, allergies are possible. So if you've never eaten or consumed dandelion in any way, and especially if you have a ragweed allergy, you might be allergic to dandelion. So try it, see how it goes. If you get any sort of reaction, stop and don't do it again. And while dandelion is considered quite safe, some people, if you have a very sensitive digestive system, might find that if you drink too much tea or eat too much of the leaves, it might upset your stomach a little bit. If you feel like you have a pretty hardy digestive system, then you probably don't have to worry about it. And like any herb too, it does have the possibility of interacting with certain medications. So if you are going to do more than just a cup of tea or a few leaves in a salad, I would make sure that you talk to your medical provider. So on to the benefits. First of all, I want to talk about the leaves specifically. The leaves are full of all kinds of vitamins and minerals and very high in fiber. So they're just good for you. If you have dandelions growing in your yard, especially in the spring when the leaves are nice and like small and tender, go out, grab some, pop them in your salad, pop them in your soup. They're bitter. You're not going to want to eat a salad that is nothing but dandelion greens. But if you add them into other things, it will mask that bitterness just a little bit and you get all the nutrition. The roots also contain fiber, and that fiber specifically is inulin, which if you look at fiber supplements, a lot of times that is the fiber that they will use in things like Metamucil. And the reason is that fiber not only just helps sort of the bulk of your stool so that you can pass stool easily, it also feeds the bacteria in our stomach. So it's considered a prebiotic, meaning it feeds the probiotic, the bacteria that live in our gut. And in addition to all the nutritive value, in addition to that, it is a great anti-inflammatory and it's high in antioxidants. Now, inflammation is natural in the body. Anytime that we're under stress, we get injured, we get sick, it causes inflammation in the body. And a herb that is anti-inflammatory helps calm that down. Antioxidants help our bodies fight sort of like that natural age-related cell breakdown. So it keeps us younger, healthier, and might even help prevent certain cancers. I tend to think of dandelion as being very good for liver health, and that is because it is a tonic and an alterative herb. The tonic meaning that it helps to support pretty much every system of the body, just helps keep us healthy and functioning. But the alterative means that it supports the body's ability to move fluids, to get rid of metabolic waste. Dandelion is antimicrobial and antiviral, so it helps us fight infection. And it just contains several different compounds that help with things like lowering our cholesterol, increasing our ability to secrete insulin, and it can also even suppress the appetite a little bit, making it a good herb to use for weight loss. Now again, just because I said it's good for weight loss, and you might be thinking, great, I want to lose a few pounds, that doesn't mean you want to go out and drink like 10 cups of dandelion tea a day. You still want to use everything in moderation, and you definitely want to start with small amounts and work your way up just to see how your body reacts to it, how you feel. More is not always better. So how can you start to incorporate dandelion into your herbal apothecary to start using it on a regular basis? Depending on the time of year, you might be able to just go out into your yard, pop off a yellow flower and throw it in your tea and just see how that adds a little something, something, and just see how that adds a little herbal goodness to your tea. You could pick some leaves. Now it's best to harvest leaves in spring and early summer when the leaves are still fairly small, especially if you're going to use them in a salad. As summer progresses, the leaves get bigger. They also get a little thicker and rougher and harder. So you might be able to still use them in soup, but they might not be great for salad, but they also could be good for drying. So if you want to pick some herbs, eat some fresh, dry some to make tea out of, you can do that. You can also dig up the whole plant, harvest the root, scrub it really well, let it dry, chop it up, and then dehydrate it if you want to make your own dandelion root tea. I myself honestly don't do that. I find it's just too easy and too convenient to just order dandelion root from an herbal store, and then I don't have to worry about the scrubbing and the drying, because when you take roots and you dry them, what looked like a decent amount of root becomes almost nothing. It's like cooking with spinach, right? When you have like a big handful of spinach, you cook it down and you have like this little, like 1 tablespoon of spinach. It's sort of like that. And actually, one of the simplest ways to start using dandelion tea is to just pick up some dandelion tea at the grocery store. If you look at the tea selection, they will likely have just plain old dandelion tea. It might be a combination of root and leaf. It might just be leaf. It might just be root. Either is fine. If you aren't familiar with using herbs, I would stick with a tea that is just dandelion on its own versus the blends that have a bunch of herbs, and dandelion is just one of them. I know at my grocery store, I can get one that I think it's called Liver Detox. And one of the main roots in it is dandelion, but then it also has a bunch of others, including licorice root, which if you have high blood pressure, you shouldn't take. So start with just straight up dandelion, see how it goes. Maybe sometime down the road, you can try a different blend, but I find when you're implementing an herb for the first time, it's best to use it on its own so you know specifically how your body reacts to it versus convoluting it with other herbs and not knowing if that reaction was another herb or was it dandelion. Who knows, right? And I will say, I have seen dandelion capsules that you can buy, but for the most part, I think that's unnecessary. There are very few herbs that I think most people should be taking in capsule form because I think it's just too much most of the time. If you want to start using dandelion, a cup or two of dandelion tea or adding some dandelion leaves to your food, that's enough. You're probably not going to need more. More is not always better. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and I'll see you next time.